Good morning, everybody. Appreciate everybody being here this morning. At this time, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Clerk Barger, if you will, please call the roll.
Master Combs?
Here.
Master Barger?
Here.
Master Tudor?
Here.
Master Buchan?
Present.
Judge Taylor?
Here. At this time, Master Tom Bockins is going to lead us in a word of prayer.
Let's pray, please. Dear most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, this wonderful spring day where the sun's shining, dear Heavenly Father. And we thank you for this opportunity that we can get together and conduct county business, Lord, in a free nation. And dear Heavenly Father, I just ask that you would give us the wisdom and the courage to make decisions today, and that we would do things that would be in your favor, dear Heavenly Father. And also, I'd like for us to never forget, dear Heavenly Father, that we're able together in this country today because there's an American soldier, sailor, airman, marine, or coast guardman in every nation on the face of this earth, some that will pay the ultimate sacrifice today. Dear Heavenly Father, just forgive us where we fail you, and these things we ask and pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Tom. Sheriff, if you will.
Stand, face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
Thanks, Sheriff. Guys, y'all had a chance to look over the minutes from the previous meeting. At this time, I need a motion and a second to approve.
So moved.
Second.
No discussion. Call the roll, please.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Buchan?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Treasurer's report will be at our next fiscal court meeting. First order of business today is discussion on the Arbuckle Road funding. Colleen's going to present to us today.
This is an update for the court and just to be made aware of the situation at Arbuckle. So just for the audience to recap, in 2010, some storms came through that required action by our road department to repair Arbuckle Road. And in that process, we received a FEMA award for reconstruction of that roadway. Unfortunately, it did not close out and have an oversight review until 2017. 16. And so at that oversight review, it was deemed that there was some activity on the roadway that was not in the scope of work on the grant. And so I want to be very clear, that does not make that action illegal or inappropriate. It just means that the funding that was approved with the federal grant, the grant was not amended to include additional repairs. So when the inspector came out to look at this activity, obviously done in a previous administration, when he came to review it, he found that there were some items that we had not sought an amendment for. Because they cut the check in advance, and because we already had all of the full award in our account, we are now being asked to return $108,000, the true amount of, I think they're going to end up working with us on the true amount of what it'll be. It'll be 108 and some change as the final amount that will be due back. We've appealed twice in the process, and through a variety of staff who'd worked on it. I ended up sitting down with some members of the road department and looking at the appeal. I don't feel like we have any grounds for a viable appeal. It is true, there was no amendment done on the various pieces of work. The team who worked on the road came out and looked at it with the judge, with me, with Willie, and I think that it would only be appropriate for us to return the funds.
Colleen, is there not a time limit on when an inspection or final decision on that should have been?
No.
Rather than 6 years later? I mean, that seems
It's
like
very common in federal grants to have a very long review period, close out, and then you're eligible for 2 to 4 years afterwards to have a review. Anyone who's done a CDBG grant or any of those large grants, it's unfortunately we don't fall in a statute of limitation situation here.
What was the original amount?
I'm sorry?
What was the original amount?
176,000, 179,000. Yeah. Is that what we received? The county received a check, I believe, in like July of 2012. Is that correct?
I think
Go ahead.
somewhere around there, and it was actually 144,000 was what we received, because they hold back so much till the final was made. So that should be deducted off of what they say we owe for the total, because they were still holding 10%.
Well, they de-obligated, the way I understood it, they de-obligated 108,000 plus,
$108,547.
from the 179,000.
So, that's correct.
Well, how much did we end up spending on?
We spent $183,000.
We spent $183,000, we already had to pay the $183,000.
Unfortunately, under federal law, and the FEMA is a federal program, there's really specific rules and regulations. We should have requested an amendment. My gut is if we would have requested an amendment at that time and it was approved, it would have been no issue. All of the repairs are necessary and needed. An example is a culvert was inserted. And a culvert was not on the original scope of work. It was just handled and taken care of because it was needed. Unfortunately, we would have had to have requested to put culverts in order for it to be approved. Once approved, they could have proceeded and put the culverts in. That wasn't done. All they requested was for blacktop, and so all they're going, and some other things with regards to that, but that is all they're gonna reimburse is for what they originally approved.
Yeah, when they come out and they, just as an example, I mean, culverts is an example, but if they approved 7 culverts to be replaced or fixed, and you replace 20, or if they approve you to put down a mile worth of blacktop and you put down 2 miles, then when they come back out for their final inspection, which is what took place, they're not gonna pay for that extra mile or those extra culverts or, and with the investigation, the research that we did, it seems like that's what happened, that
The staff agrees that's what happened. I think it was just probably a lack of expertise in federal grant administration at the time. Honestly, I don't think there was any, obviously, malintent. I just think that the lack of awareness as to how those federal programs behaved and be on notice. It would be the same for CSEP. CSEP had, they're in a federal, they fall under the exact same rules. Any of our federal programs, any monies that we receive from the federal government fall under the same OMB circular, which means you have a very strict, and they're not the same rules as the state. They're not the same rules that apply for local. You have to abide by those, and one of those is your scope of work has to match. Even if they say, hey, this project costs $200,000 and you only spend $100,000, even if you're making the best use of the money. I mean, this is a frustrating situation because we did more with less, but unfortunately, a little common sense is not part of the equation
We're
here.
gonna end up doing more with less.
When the storms come through in 2010, we actually closed Arbuckle Road for almost 2 years. So we didn't go back and even do that work till 2012. So I think the time, when they went over with us what was acceptable to be reimbursed, and then 2 years later we did the work, probably caused a little
Additional damage that maybe not had been
It
on the
had set there
initial
for 2 years
assessment.
and eroded.
So,
the unfortunate thing for me, obviously, and this is a new administration, the unfortunate thing for me is that, FEMA's procedures, not coming back for 4 years basically and doing a final inspection, which I think Willie went out there with them in April of 2016 for the final inspection of something that was fixed in 2012 and we received a check on. That's the unfortunate part, that, this could have been handled if FEMA had a quicker turnaround time, where this court and this administration wouldn't even be dealing with it, But
That doesn't surprise you, does it?
No.
it's surprising them less and less now.
Yeah.
Nothing surprises me off any.
And so, we want to present this to the public. Obviously, one of our number one goals being here is to be transparent, be open, not pushing the blame onto anybody, but I don't want this court to be blamed either. I mean, this is $108,000 that we're going to have to send back to FEMA. So it comes out of this administration's bank account. And so I just want the public to know. I want it to be transparent. So
At this point, just so everyone's clear, that number is gonna be, right now, it's $108,547.47. So $108,547.47.
Where will we take that money from?
you got any ideas?
No, sir, but we don't even have an idea what we're gonna get next year because the governor vetoed the budget. So we have no idea.
Well, I mean, we got reserves.
We've got some LGE money to a degree that's
Well, I know we do, but I was,
500,000, give or take a few pennies.
Yeah. I mean, we've got the money.
We've got money for it. It's bad that we have to
use it.
that we have to use it.
Right.
It's also bad that we have to learn from this as we go forward, but yet at the same time, all that work, that's in the 4th district. All that work that needed to be done on that road needed to be done on that road. I've seen it, I've seen what was done out there, and if you go out and look at it now, there's still some parts of it, not where that repair was done. There's still some sections of that road that's in bad shape.
Yeah.
There's still money that needs to be put on that road.
And just so everybody knows, you know, since this new administration came in, we have a certified grant administrator who's certified in federal grant administration. We had a team meeting with finance, with road department, with CSEP, with all of our partners that have federal grants, and we have put a new process in as to how those federal grants would flow through to make sure that we don't have this happen again. Sure.
It's a shame, Colleen, that it took so long for them to come out and inspect the road that, you know, if they're gonna take that long, they shouldn't allow us, that length of time to add an amendment to that project too. I mean, whether that would be accepted, but I'm sure they're not gonna do that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Colleen, appreciate it. Next, a proclamation. This is Hunger Awareness Month. Whoever's y'all gonna come up? Yeah, whoever's gonna come up, and y'all make your way up to the podium while I read the proclamation. Whereas no person in Madison County, Kentucky should have to go hungry, and whereas 15.6 million American households, including more than 3 million with children, are constantly unable to get enough food to eat, according to the USDA's report on household food insecurity. And whereas hunger has adverse consequences for all Americans, in particular children and mothers. And whereas hunger impedes growth and development, also hunger is a significant predictor of adverse health conditions. And whereas God's Outreach Community Food Bank, Richmond Food Bank at New Liberty Family Shelter, Home Meals Delivery, and Salvation Army of Madison County work daily to stomp out hunger in our community. And whereas local businesses, area churches and schools, Eastern Kentucky University faculty, staff and students, and local potters unite each year to donate various talents, resources to raise hunger awareness through the Madison County Empty Bowls Project. Now therefore, I, Reagan Taylor, Madison County Judge Executive, do hereby declare and proclaim the month of April 2018 as Madison County Hunger Awareness Month, and urge all citizens to support efforts to end hunger in the County of Madison, the Commonwealth of Kentucky, the United States of America, and the world. Thank you all for being here.
And we just invite you all, April 20th, next Friday, to, the event is held at First Baptist Church, and we have 2 seatings, 11 to 1 and 4:30 to 6:30. So if you can come support this, and all proceeds do go to the 4 food shelters that you mentioned. So thank you for your.
Thank you all very much.
Can we get a picture real quick?
Sure. Absolutely.
So we can,
Yeah, yeah.
we like to post it on our Facebook page and.
Sure. Let's go right here. You got somebody take it?
I can take it.
Guys, y'all want to stand up right here behind us? Can we get everybody in?
Yeah, I got it. One more. Looking good.
Every day.
Yeah.
You're good. Next, we have another proclamation. This is Child Abuse Prevention Month. Whereas National Child Abuse Prevention Month will be recognized throughout the United States as well as in the Commonwealth of Kentucky during the month of April 2018. And whereas children are vital to our state's future, success, prosperity, and quality of life, as well as being our most vulnerable assets. And whereas all children deserve to have the safe, stable, nurturing homes and communities they need to foster their healthy growth and development. And whereas child abuse and neglect is a community responsibility, affecting both the current and future quality of life of our community. And whereas communities that provide parents with the social support, knowledge of parenting and child development, and concrete resources they need to cope with stress and nurture their children ensure all children grow to their full potential. And whereas effective child abuse prevention strategies succeed because of partnerships created among citizens, human service agencies, schools, faith communities, healthcare providers, civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. Now therefore, I, Reagan Taylor, Madison County Judge Executive, and the Madison County Fiscal Court do hereby proclaim April as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Madison County, Kentucky, and call upon all citizens, community agencies, faith groups, medical facilities, elected leaders, and businesses to increase their participation in our efforts to support families, thereby preventing child abuse and strengthening the communities in which we live.
Thank you so much. I just want to invite everyone this coming Friday outside on the lawn. We are planting 510 pinwheels to represent every abused and neglected child in Madison County for last year. It's between 5 to 7. One of our family court judges is going to speak. It'll be a great time. There's free food, which everyone loves. So please come join us. It's CASA of Madison County and DCBS, the cabinet. We're all working together to plant these pinwheels. So I hope you can join us.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here. And just for everybody watching on TV, CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocates. Thank you for being here. And I'm going to keep the proclamation because I think I'm going to read it Friday. Yep. Bye. Have a good day. You ready? Next is Sarah Care Week. This is another proclamation. Whereas the Sarah Care Fund has in the past 12 years managed to enhance the lives of Madison County's children and all the children in the care of Kentucky Children's Hospital. And whereas the main mission of the fund is to provide support to the children and families at Kentucky Children's Hospital with simple comforts as TV combo units, drug copay assistance, and gas cards, as well as financial assistance to families facing crisis of a child's illness. And whereas the Sarah Care Fund continues to offer scholarships to seniors at Berea Community and Madison Southern High Schools and supports with donation to hospice and the Matt Ross Fund to the Berea Parks Program. Now therefore, I, Reagan Taylor, Madison County Judge Executive, on behalf of the Madison County Fiscal Court, does proclaim the week of April 16th, 2017 as Sarah Care Week in Madison County. This proclamation celebrates the generosity of our citizens that have contributed more than $160,000 in support, understanding, and compassion to fellow citizens of our community. Appreciate you being here.
And I thank you. And he said it all, really. That's very wonderful, all the wording. I don't have the new posters, but for those in the audience here who maybe not been, we've had so many of you come, and the fiscal court throughout the years. You guys have just been wonderful. But this is our daughter, Sarah. She was stricken with cancer in her senior year, and she did graduate posthumously. We received her diploma, Norma and I, at the school where I taught all those years, Berea Community School System, for 33 years. Our event is next Friday, April the 20th, and we're famous for that $5 family spaghetti supper. Family of 5 for $25. That's pretty good. I just kind of made that up. I'm going to remember it. The other thing is the Nashville group that we managed to meet. There was a big hit song when Sarah was ill by a wonderful writer who's become just an incredible friend to us, Doug Johnson from Nashville, an award-winning writer. And he wrote a song for Rascal Flatts called Skin, Sarah Beth, and it was the story of a girl who developed cancer and the struggle and the parents, and it was exactly like us. And then Doug and I and Lisa, his wife, we've become great friends. They come every year. I was just telling Larry before the meeting, I spent about probably an hour off and on yesterday on the phone with the Nashville gang, and we have a tremendous group that's coming for the event next Friday night, plus all the locals. And I hope you guys can come. We have a spaghetti supper, and then we have raffles that go on all night long. Coach Cal always helps and signs. Some of you know Mitch Toll, our great American artist friend. He has the Cats prints, and Coach Cal signs them. I'm hoping Joe Hall's going to sign one this year too. We have trips, vacations, It's just a nice night. All the money goes for a great, great cause, and I've really been impressed with all the proclamations. I keep hearing the word children. So, but I thank all of you, and I hope you can come and be with us.
Will you give that date and time one more time,
Yes,
please?
it's April the 20th, next Friday. And the spaghetti supper starts at 6, although we have a very healthy group that always somehow gets there at 5:30.
Yeah.
And then the concert's supposed to end by 10, but when Nashville gets cooking, we often are there till 11:15.
Yeah.
You've been there. So it's a busy, busy night, a lot of fun.
And that's at Union Church.
It's at Union Church, which is the really, really big church directly across from Boone Tavern on the Berea College campus. And if you would like to see my friends from Nashville, and my friend Muse Watson, a buddy of mine that lives in Berea now, he's come back to live with us in the community. He's NCIS and the original Prison Break.
Prison Break, yeah.
The one he doesn't talk about, all those, I know what you did last summer, and I'll always know what you did last summer, and all of those. But at any rate, he'll be there too. And we're going to be on Channel 27 with Barbara and Bill next Friday also, if you want to watch those guys.
Yeah,
All right.
good.
Sure do, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. King. Thank you. Appreciate it.
My photographer's home with a bad back, so I don't have pictures. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. The vote.
Next on the agenda is our check presentation for the animal shelter. Mr. Tussey
Morning.
and Mr. Ford.
Morning.
This is
Good morning.
exciting.
Good morning, everyone. A few months back, Michael Ford here contacted me about an estate of a Tony Bennett that was reading that he had left his estate for proceeds to go to Madison County Fiscal Court in the animal shelter. Never in my mind did I think that it would turn into a donation of over $190,000. That being said, obviously, Judge Taylor, I think you might touch on how we're going to the plan for the money, and obviously we've coined the Bennett Saves Initiative. After that, I'll turn it over to Michael Ford here, who can tell us a little bit about Mr. Bennett.
Thank you. Mr. Bennett, like a lot of folks in our community, moved here as a retiree. He was originally from New York, lived most of his life in California, where he had a craft and antique shop. When he moved here, he took a lot of comfort in his pets, and I've given Scott a couple of photos of some of the animals he really treasured. And he did something that, I'm the executor of his estate. Mr. Bennett had no family, but he did something that a lot of folks want to do when they pass away, want to make a gift to charity. But he did something that I think is sort of neat in it and that gets overlooked a lot. He left his gift locally to local causes. So often we see money go out to national or statewide organizations that don't really make a difference in our community. But Tony wanted to be sure he helped the shelter, and in particular the spay and neutering efforts. That was something he cared a lot about. And so I'm just, it's one of those really neat things to be able to be a part of. Appreciate your all's work, and appreciate the work of the fiscal court.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Thanks, Scott. It's exciting to know that that we have citizens, and I think sometimes we have blinders on in our daily life, and we overlook things. But it's so heartwarming to know that we have people in our community that love our community. And looking back on this, and it hopefully for the future, it will make me, even though I'm a county judge, it'll make me take off my blinders and be aware of those out in our community that love this community. That's one thing we all have in common, is we love being Madison Countyans. And so it's awesome. It's heartwarming to know that Mr. Bennett did that. It sort of stinks that it was kind of too late to say thank you. But it's awesome, and we really greatly appreciate it. One of the things when Michael presented this to us that we really thought about doing with the money is how can we sort of let Mr. Bennett's live on, his legacy live on, and what we would really like to do, and Colleen and Scott worked really hard on this Bennett donation. What did you call it there, Scott?
The Bennett Initiative.
the Bennett initiative is to take that money, invest it to where that we can just use the interest return every year to help start our spay and neuter program. And that we really start an initiative to encourage other people and let that really sort of grow. Maybe others will be willing to leave some gifts to the animal shelter to where that we can really help that initiative, our spay and neuter program. That's one of the things when Colleen actually wrote the press release. This was, I'm gonna read this because it was somewhat, I guess, scary, but you don't realize this. But due to the birthing patterns of cats and dogs, one non-fixed male and one non-fixed female cat and their offspring can biologically produce 420,000 cats over a 7-year period. So just let that sink in a little bit.
Heads up.
All right.
Can't hurt all that.
And then one non-fixed male and one non-fixed female dog and their offspring can produce 50,000 dogs in a 7-year period. And so I think that it would be it'd be a good way to use Mr. Bennett's money to help promote and to build on our home or our spay and neuter program.
And currently, Judge Taylor, about 30% of our actual adopted animals end up getting spayed and neutered. With this money and this initiative, we need that to be 100% of our animals get spayed and neutered
Right.
prior or after they are adopted. So it's a win-win.
Judge, I can remember it's been, I'm not gonna I can't recall the year because it's been so many ago. But we had someone that was just touring Madison County and come through. And they stopped at the animal shelter and was so impressed that when they passed away, they gave $20,000 to Madison County, and that's been years ago. Scott wasn't there at that time, but I'm sure you would have impressed him too, whoever was running at that time, I think Keith. But they really impressed him, and they left that for Madison County. And of course, I think we used probably most of that on the operations at that time because we were actually just getting started. But that was a good suggestion on their part, and like you said, Judge, anybody's got any, we'll take it.
That's right. We accept donations at the Madison County Animal Shelter for sure. So, thanks, guys. Anybody else? Tom,
He
John?
may not be here, but that certainly deserves a round of applause.
Yes, I agree with that.
Want some checks here?
I do.
It's a real check.
Oh, that's all right. This one will go right to the bank. That big one won't.
Got it. Thank you.
We got one more back here.
Got it?
You good?
Good. I think I got it.
You won't get a second chance.
All right. Thank you all for everything.
Thank
you.
guys
Thank you,
so much. I know Mr. Dean really appreciate it. Thank you all.
Good to see you.
Guys, thank you. I'll see you.
This goes right to the treasurer. You gonna get this on film?
It's nice meeting you, Mike.
You need anything?
Michael, thank you, man.
Thank you all.
Appreciate
Appreciate
it,
all
brother.
your work.
Judge, I do want to say before Michael leaves,
Michael.
Mike, I followed along as he proceeded through this estate. And I wanted to compliment Mike on the work that he did on this estate. And I also wanted to tell the court, make sure they understood that he did this at a rate that was very favorable to the county, and he maximized the award. And he didn't have to do that, especially in a situation when there's nobody there to complain. So I really admired the work he did on it, and he benefited the county very well on the work he did. So
Thank you.
thank
I
you.
appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you for all your work. Thank you.
Good man.
Appreciate you being here. Yeah, that's why we want TV here. Yeah, yeah, it's good publicity. Next, second reading of ordinance 1805, land use change. This is 3188 Urban Road from RC7 Rural Corridor Agricultural to RC1 Rural Corridor Single Family Residential for a 28.19 acre tract. This is the second reading. See, whereas the Madison County Planning Commission held a public hearing on Tuesday, March the 20th, 2018, to consider a land use change request application from RC7 to RC1. The applicant's request stated that their justification for the proposed change being the existing zoning classification given to the property is inappropriate, and the proposed zoning classification is appropriate and in keeping with the comprehensive plan. A finding of fact was made by the commission that the property is located in an area contemplated by the comprehensive plan as amendable to development and available to sewer expansion and potential growth. And that was the proposed land use map amendment is in the agreement with the comprehensive plan of Madison County. Whereas the Madison County Planning Commission, upon hearing testimony, made a motion with unanimous consent to recommend to the Madison County Fiscal Court to approve the land use change request from RC7 to RC1. So if I have a motion and a second for the approval of the second reading of ordinance 1805, land use change for 3188 Irvin Road from RC7 Rural Corridor Agriculture to RC1 Rural Corridor Single Family Residential.
So move.
Second.
Do we have any public comment? Seeing none, guys, do we have any comment?
Judges, as I told you before, my only concern about this property being developed is the location of the traffic coming off on Urban Road there. It's rather than the Mobley area there where you have Mobley Road, you have Charlie Norris, and you have the other road coming off there too. Two or three different intersections there. If we could work with the state, maybe get a caution light prior to that stoplight there at Mobley and let them know when the light's getting ready to change like we do out of Waco. Maybe slow the traffic down a little bit because we got traffic going through there at 50, 60 miles an hour. So
Yep.
that's my only concern is the traffic issue there.
Which, you know, obviously, guys, just to know when we start having areas that are growing, you know, we do have that opportunity to work with the state for potential turning lanes. You know, now that you've got that development going to potentially go in and be approved as subdivision, you got Moberly Road, you got Speedville, you got Meadowbrook, especially at the Shell gas station there, and I think some mechanic used to be there, a body shop used to be there. So, you know, that growth like that will open up opportunities for some of those things that make that area a little safer. But obviously the entrances and the state, you know, they already have rules and regs they follow from a sight distance or whether something requires turning lanes or what have you. So, any other comments? See none, please call the roll.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Bodkin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next is amendment to God's Outreach Grant. This will be Resolution 1806, amending Resolution 1728. Whereas the Department for Local Government has requested approval from the Madison County Fiscal Court to accept changes to the scope of the God's Outreach Food Bank CDBG project. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court approves the following changes in scope to the God's Outreach Food Bank Community Development Block Grant project. And whereas God's Outreach has the opportunity to acquire additional land and dwellings directly across from the current God's Outreach Food Bank location at 1512 East Main Street. This acquisition would allow for up to 10,000 square feet additional storage space as well as additional parking spaces. CDBG funds would be used for acquisition of the land and buildings, and any and all construction will be done with God's Outreach donations and non-grant funds. So, guys, you all remember our project that we approved to be the applicant agent on for the CDBG project for actually a new building for God's Outreach. But in the meantime, come on up. Yeah, in the meantime, there was an opportunity for them to purchase some buildings across the street, which is obviously more square footage.
Correct. Yeah,
it's a better use of the
money.
money.
We were about a week away from bidding the project, and as the food bank is known to, they have some divine intervention come in, and they had some opportunity to acquire some more land and some more buildings, which they desperately need. So we would like to change the scope of the project. DLG has asked that we get that approved by you all. So if anybody has any questions now, let me know, and I'll try to answer those. But essentially, this will be an acquisition project, so no Davis-Bacon wage rates will be included, so they won't have to pay, super high construction fees and things like that. So I think this makes more sense financially for the food bank, and it's really a win-win for everybody because they're just busting at the seams. They've got more food than they know what to do with, and Joyce knows what I'm talking about. And so I think this would be a really good thing for the food bank overall. So that's kind of all the info we have on it right now. So
Kind of give us a description of the property that you're looking at.
I don't know how specific I can be
It's the
legally
corner
right
of
now.
it's the corner of East Main Street and Lake Street.
Correct.
There used to be maybe a little bargain barn.
It's kind of a mix. There's kind of there's like a bargain barn. There's kind of an older home. There's another little storage area and some beat up cars. So I think they're going to have a lot of open space over there for additional parking, for administrative areas, for like 8,000 square feet of storage space. So
On the east side or west side of Lake Street?
It would be on the west side. It'd be towards
Back toward town.
back toward town.
Okay.
Yes.
You used to have U-Hauls there, John.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I know.
There you go. There you go. Perfect. So hopefully we can get this moving pretty quick. We're going to have to resubmit clearinghouse comments to the state. Do a new environmental. Do a new anti-displacement form. So there'll be a few more things that we'll present to the fiscal court that we've already done that we'll technically have to do again just for this change in scope. But it won't be a fair housing and everything like that. So it'll just be a few things.
You already have an appraisal on that property?
I believe so, yes. Yes, I'm picking up a contract right now from Anthony after I get done here. So it's kind of moving quick.
So guys, if y'all approve resolution 1806 to amend resolution 1728 for the new scope for the God's Outreach CDBG grant, I need a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
No discussion? Call roll.
Mr. Berger?
Yes.
Mr. Tudor?
Yes.
Mr. Buckton?
Yes.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thanks. Next is award to IT and GIS department. Thank Chris. Hi, buddy. It's Megan.
We are very excited to present this award to you. We'll officially get the award in California in July. We wanted to kind of take this opportunity just to let everybody know that we had been given the award. It's not every day that I get to stand up here and recognize my employees for the work that they do every day. So it's really an honor to stand up here. Megan and I kind of kidded about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago about it'd be cool to win a SAG award from Esri. Well, we get an email and it says, congratulations, you're the 2018 SAG award winner for Esri. Esri is the Environmental Sciences Research Institute, which is the software that we use to do all our GIS mapping. Every year, from hundreds of thousands of applications that are submitted by Esri employees are submitted to the owner and CEO, and he actually handpicks the projects that are submitted. So the owner of this company, and it's a worldwide national company that does the software, handpicked our projects. Megan's going to tell you exactly which projects they picked. But just the statement is, Esri SAG Award winners are selected for embracing geographic information system technology. The organizations have used GIS to improve the world and set new precedents throughout the GIS community. The SAG Award ceremony is held at the annual Esri User Conference and presided over by Jack Dangerman, the president and founder of Esri. Recipients of the Special Achievement in GIS Award are submitted by Esri staff from thousands of organizations worldwide and then personally reviewed and selected by Jack. So this is pretty interesting. This is the kind of company we're in, right? So the 2017 SAG Award winners, because you only know that you won the 2018, we don't know everybody else. 2017 was the city of Long Beach, California, the city of Tempe, Arizona, the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, and the Walt Disney Animation Studios, which they use for the production of Zootopia. So that's some pretty good company that we're in there. So I'm gonna let Megan take the credit here and tell you exactly what we did that got us this award.
I guess it was a few years ago that we started down this path with enabling the GPS devices in the snowplows to sort of track those for our own purposes, to know where they were, and also to really let the public know a little more information when they really hadn't had any before. Jumping off from that point, just in the interest of transparency and openness with the public, with all of our information, because our information is public information, we have branched off from just the single tracks application, which
we released a new version of recently, so that's all up to date and ticking along nicely. We now have an open data portal where the public can go and actually look at our data sets and really see what kind of information we have, things that would be useful to the public, like city limits and zoning information. We also have a set of informative applications. We have basic street and address information. We have a flood zone map. We have voter information applications. We have some things that are really more of interest to professionals. We have a fire station difference, in sort of how long it takes to drive from a fire station to an address. That comes into play for insurance purposes a lot. We like that we can just give this to the public. It's for them, it's their information, we work for them. We have the Geo Hub, as it's called, and that's accessible for through any GIS or map link on the county website. That's where that will get you. At this point, I can't see anything but a great blue sky future for what we have here in GIS at the county. This is just the beginning. We have so much more to build and offer. We're proud of our work, but it is very nice to get outside validation that we really are doing things correctly, that we really are keeping up with the big boys, I guess is what you could say. So also, I definitely could not have done this on my own, and I did not do this on my own. So I definitely want to thank Chris, because his support is indispensable. I would like to thank the court and the administration. You guys have supported us all the way through. I want to thank the county citizens. They're invested in this, and they really have shown interest in this. We can track the views on all of our applications, and we see that people are using them. So I am really happy.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good.
I think that deserves a round of applause. Yeah, it's appreciate it, Megan. Chris, always been a pleasure since I've been here to work with both of you guys, and I'm really proud of you. I think this court's leadership of being innovative, being bold, thinking outside the box, gives our talent and our employees the reins to sky's the limit. Sometimes I have to pull y'all back a little bit financially, especially get in that tech and GIS world. But I'm really appreciative of your all's leadership and you all doing this. I mean, this puts Madison County on the map nationally. I mean, that's pretty big stuff, you know. Some people probably watching on TV or maybe even in the room don't realize how big of a deal this is, but this is a big deal. So,
Megan, I want to also congratulate you and Chris on an accomplishment that's nationwide. I mean, this is something a big deal, and we appreciate your efforts on this. We know the citizens appreciate it. The snow tracker apps are being used. I hear about it every time we have a snow. I just wish you quit ordering the snow so you can track it out, you know. But other than that,
We have to test it sometime.
I know you have to test it, but kind of call off some of the snow. But we appreciate you. Thank you.
And you're just invaluable to us. I mean, you know that we've come down there many times and asked for maps of something, and you've given them to us every time, and we appreciate that. It takes I would hate to think what I'd have to do to go research boundaries on something that you can print out in 10 minutes. So we really appreciate your work down there. It's been invaluable. Thank you.
you know, on that tracks program, I mean, I remember when we all came in this term in 2015, you know, it wasn't but, 45 days, and we had a 17-inch snow or something, and man, the phones were blowing up in there, you know, why haven't you scraped my road? And I mean, there were roads from I-75 wanting me to scrape them, or Main Street in Berea, Main Street in Richmond, and so, you know, we got together after that and said, man, we got to do something. What can we do to, and the tracks program is what you all did. And I'm telling you, man, our calls have gone way, way, way down. People are aware of it with Facebook, social media. You know, they don't need to call because we have this information at their fingertips, and it's amazing. It's awesome.
you don't realize, public, when they call you and they say, they haven't scraped my road, and they say, well, you're, where you live, and they tell you, and you say, well, truck's a half a mile from you. They say, how do you know that? You know, and it feels good to be able to tell them generally how long it's gonna be before somebody's there, or yeah, he's had a problem, it looks like he's a few miles away, probably gonna be 30, 45 minutes before you can get there, you know. But it makes a big difference. We appreciate you.
The only bad thing about that is when you've got one of your trucks scraping snow, he's in a ditch.
Yeah.
That's the bad part.
He hadn't
Somebody
moved.
calls and
He
you say,
hadn't moved for a
well,
while.
he's in a ditch, and if we get him out, he's on his way.
I'm gonna tell one quick story. There was a gentleman called me. He's a little upset that nobody had scraped his road, and obviously after we'd started the program, and so I had Colleen actually pull up this roadway and find out when the truck had been there, and the guy, and I said, "Are you sure he hadn't been there?" And he said, "I know he hadn't been there. I've watched my video. The guy had cameras on his house, and you could see the road." And so Colleen said, "Pull up, 2:37 in the morning." And so I said, "Well, go to your camera and pull up 2:37 in the morning." And the guy got real quiet, and he said, "All right, they've been here." Because at 2:37 in the morning on his cameras, he saw the truck go by the road, and he had missed it. And so, it's great to show the community that, hey, we are doing what we're supposed to do, and it takes away a lot of the speculation that can happen. And then it looks bad upon us as community leaders. It looks bad upon our employees in the road department when we have the proof that, yes, we are doing our job. So, kudos.
I'd like to say something too. Nobody relies more on GIS for the essential thing, the biggest thing we do is elections. And without GIS mapping, we'd be a lost ball in high weeds. When I took office, we had maps that they would lay on a copier and blow them up so that they could tell where the lines were for the precinct boundaries. And now we can look on a map and tell, well, yeah, your house is in this precinct, but your mailbox is in another. So your address is what it is, but you actually reside in the precinct next door.
Yeah.
We couldn't survive without it. And it's the same thing. We can look it up and give the citizen the reason why things are what they are on the phone call in an instant versus just kind of tell them that's because it is that way. What Chris and Megan do is not cheap. But just like Tom said, you don't understand how often that stuff is used. It's used, hourly here in the county by citizens, by our government. So I'd like to thank him, and I'd like to thank Chris too. I've told him he's probably plateaued at best, if not peaked. He's gonna, and you set yourself up, you've got a pretty high bar to impress us next time, so.
You're not talking
So
about
get at it. No, I'm talking about career-wise.
Yeah.
You're not done yet? Good. I don't want
Hey,
you.
all I can say is don't trip on the red carpet in July. All right, yeah.
Is there a red carpet?
Yeah.
I don't think there's a red carpet.
Hey, just say there's red carpet, man. It sounds better. Yeah, sounds better.
You bring in budget in, there might be though.
Guys, thank y'all very much. Appreciate you a lot.
Thank you, Chris.
Next is Personnel Road Department. Scott? Good morning, buddy.
Good morning. Here today to make a recommendation to the court to hire Tony Morrison. Mr. Morrison is relocating here to Madison County. He's actually in the process now of moving. We are wanting to hire him as a seasonal employee. He is CDL certified. He has worked for the same type job in Tennessee for the last 10 years. So he has got a lot of experience. We're wanting to welcome him to the community. We're wanting to start him at CDL pay at $13 an hour, and we would like for him to start work tomorrow.
And just to give a little bit, this gentleman's family's actually already moved here. And he's sort of in a transition is one of the reasons why we're trying to do part-time or seasonal, because, he's trying to take care of some things from back home, get his house sold, get moved here, and so he's going to be working sort of seasonal, but at some point, once he gets here full-time and gets settled and established, then he would probably be coming on full-time. So just full disclosure.
Probably like to have that signal 2 months ago, wouldn't you? And just riding in.
I'll take anybody in. Give me a CDL license and I'm happy.
Yeah.
I make a motion, Judge.
Thank you, Larry. Appreciate it. Do I have a second?
Second.
No discussion. Call the roll, please.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Bachman?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate
Thank
it. Good morning, Miss Rachel.
Good morning.
Hi.
No.
No, go ahead. Yeah, you, well, come on up. Yeah, next is fire department, new hire. This will be position of our new chief.
Yes, so we are wanting to recommend Tim Gray, who's actually here today. If you would stand up, please, Tim. And we would recommend fire chief for $55,000 starting right after this court meeting.
Sound like we need him immediately. doesn't it?
Yes.
Do I have a motion and a second?
I make that motion.
I'll second it.
All right, now we'll open it up for discussion.
Judge, I've known Tim for 30-plus years, and he's always been an outstanding worker and citizen and part of the community. And he's got a 20-year-plus retirement from the county fire department, so he knows what goes on out there and what needs to be going on out there. I think he's a good choice for the department. I highly recommend Tim.
I've known Tim's family as well, way before Tim was here. But the whole family is always dedicated to the work, and he's gonna do the right thing.
How many applicants did we have, Rachel? Tell us that.
Seven.
Yeah.
Seven or eight, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
So we've said this over and over since we've been here, that it's good when we can hire from within and get our own people. So that's good. Congratulations.
You know, one of the things that, you know, I think sometimes even people watching on TV or maybe in the room when we do this is every hire we go through a process, and it's the same process. And we really want to get different sets of eyes, different mindsets on these committees, especially interviewing, so that we know and we can justify to the taxpayer that we are, you know, getting the best of the best. This committee, the hiring committee that interviewed was Brandon Rutherford. I want to thank Brandon. Brandon is a firefighter. He actually is a firefighter at the Bluegrass Army Depot, a Madison County citizen. Man, he takes time out of his day to come in and sit in on this because he has a love for Madison County and wants to see this community succeed, and I appreciate it, Brandon. So he was one of our committee members. Chris Israel sat on it. Howard Lowe, CSEP director, sat on it, and then Colleen sat on it as well. And so, man, everybody gets asked the same questions. These guys score it, and I really believe in our process, man. I think it gets the best of the best. And Tim, I'm thankful for your interest in applying for this. I look forward for you picking up where Chief Hereford left off, and keep moving our fire department forward. And I'm excited to be on the team with you. All right. So.
Well, I think Tim, he was here for several years, and I know you understand the problems that we do have in the fire department. And, you know, I'd like to sit here today and say, no, we don't have any. But that's not true, and you know that. So you're gonna take a big undertaking to correct some of those problems that we do have, and I'm sure you will. And I hope you address them sooner than later. And the second thing is, on his work location, we got him at Station 1. He can work at 2, can he?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put a -2 on it.
Yeah, -2. Yeah, I think that's talking about where his desk will be.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But welcome.
Yeah. No more discussion. Call the roll, please.
Master Bachman?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thanks, Rachel. Appreciate it. Tim, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. So you're hired. You're hired. So go to work. She said start immediately. Yeah. See you, buddy. Appreciate it. Next is appointment to the Board of Adjustments. It'd be my recommendation to the court to appoint Chris Cooper as the next member of the Madison County Board of Adjustments. Now he's one of our members stepped down, and that term was not up until June, the end of June 2018. So to keep all that in line, Chris will be serving from now till June of 2018, and then obviously if he's wanting to get reappointed after 2 months, which I would think he would, we'll reappoint him at that point. So I need a motion second to approve the appointment of Chris Cooper to the Madison County Board of Adjustments.
So move.
Second.
There you go. So I have a motion second. Do I have any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Bakken?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next, I would ask courts, motion and second to go into executive session to discuss an employee matter. Obviously, Rachel and Howard Logue will be going into that executive session.
So move.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Bakken?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm thinking about filing that. I like to get Kenny.
Too late?
Too late?
Yeah.
What about a writing? Too late for that?
Oh, you can do writing.
Independence not too late. Independent. Is it?
Yeah.
August.
Your guy came in the other day and filed a piece of paper that had to be filed sometime in April.
I like
And
being there.
Teresa called me in there because it said there was no charge. And I said, well, you gotta pay to file. It wasn't filed. It's something else you gotta file before.
Larry made the motion to come out of executive session.
Second.
John seconded. Call the roll, please.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Bocken?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Do I have a motion for disciplinary action against Richard Rice?
Yes, sir, I would make that motion, Richard Rice, that would have a 5-day suspension, effective 4/16/18, and that's probably the best thing we can do. We have all confidence in her, and we expect you to take care of stuff.
And, so I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
And then will that be an unpaid?
Unpaid.
Unpaid suspension. All right. So I have a motion and a second. Do we have any more discussion? Not call the roll, please.
Master Bocken?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next is the judge's report. Just got a few announcements. Again, just to follow up with some of our proclamations today. Some of these are just going to be repetitive too, so I want to make sure people that are watching on TV can hear. But we do have a Prevent Child Abuse rally that'll be on Friday, April the 13th. That'll be this Friday from 5 to 7 p.m. and that'll be here at the Madison County Courthouse Square. The Madison Community Band Spring Concert will be Sunday, April 15th at 3:30 p.m. at the First Baptist Church on the EKU bypass. There will be a Meet the Candidates forum for Madison County Magistrates and Madison County Jailer on Monday, April the 16th, beginning at 5:30 p.m. at the EKU Perkins Building. For planning purposes, please register by contacting the Richmond Chamber of Commerce. On Friday, April the 20th, is our Empty Bowls Project. There's 2 seatings for that from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. at First Baptist Church on the EKU bypass. There will be another Meet the Candidates forum for the Madison County offices of Circuit Clerk, Sheriff, Property Value Administrator, and the Kentucky State Representatives. That'll be on Monday, April the 23rd at 5:30 p.m. at the EKU's Perkins Building. Again, for planning purposes, please register by contacting the Richmond Chamber of Commerce. The 2018 Richmond Main Street Cleanup Day will be Friday, April the 20th from noon to 3 p.m. Volunteers will meet here at the Madison County Courthouse. They're on the front steps to kick that event off. The Kirksville Community Center's annual spring gathering and craft show will be Saturday, April the 21st at the Kirksville Community Center from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. For more information, please call 859-338-6690. There will be an Officer Daniel Ellis Memorial 5K. That'll be on April the 28th at the Richmond Center. That is an event that has been happening every year since that tragic accident with Daniel Ellis. It's a great event. It's really good for the community. You may register by going to runsignup.com. That's runsignup.com. And then there will also be a smoke alarm installation class on Saturday, April the 28th at 9 a.m. at the Madison County Fire Department station on Keeneland Drive. That's our station number 1. For more information, please call 859-497-6420. Comments from department heads? So we got 2. Come on up. 2 Scotts. First, Scott Tussey.
Well, good morning again. I'm going to switch hats here and talk a little bit about litter abatement funding. The city of Berea contacted me, and they had an accident and forgot to apply for their litter abatement funding last fall. Due to technicals, they did not send the paperwork in, but they have requested from me if they could possibly, we could transfer their litter abatement funding over to them, which is the amount of $7,817.18. I highly suggest that we be good neighbors and go ahead and transfer the money over to them. I've checked with the State Division of Waste Management. This is an allowable practice. They have suggested that we have an agreement with them because they have to apply, they would have to supply me the data, or Madison County Fiscal Court, the data of how they expense this money, and I'll have to tabulate it in my annual report that goes to the State Division of Waste Management. And they do the same program that we do, the Trash for Cash program, where they get involved with nonprofit groups at $100 a mile inside the city limits of Berea, just like we do. And actually, we have began with some litter cleanups this spring.
And one of the things I want to add to that is that it's not really taken away from our litter abatement money, because if they had have actually applied,
it was their money.
It really was their money. We got $7,000 plus more dollars because they didn't apply to come to Madison County. So if they had applied, they would have been awarded, and we would have gotten less money, basically.
City of
anyway,
Richmond gets this allotted money as well, which is created from the Kentucky Pride Fund, which
Yeah.
transportation sends over about $5 million for litter prevention and pickup across the state. And then the Division of Waste Management takes that money, divides it up by your road miles and your population with some fancy formula that I don't know, won't get into the strict details about, but we end up usually get about $62,000 a year for litter abatement.
Yep.
Have we already received that money?
Yes, we have received that money.
Judge, since that's some, money value, do we need a motion to
No,
transfer that?
No, it doesn't go over our limit. That's actually the authority of me being judge executive administrator that I can make that call. But I just wanted y'all to be aware of it and Scott to present it to you guys.
Well, I just think it's neighborly to do it.
Absolutely.
And we need to work together all we can.
Should have been there to start with.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll make sure to make a friendly reminder to them this fall when they reapply again as well. Obviously KCO reminds us, but then the League of Cities reminds them in newsletters and everything. So
Yeah.
I know a few people there at City of Berea will remind them.
Well, with them building a new building and having to move back and forth and stuff, I can understand that.
Yes.
Well, that's good partnerships, man. We're in this together.
That's right.
We might need something,
Sure.
So
That's right.
we might slip up and miss something. So it's good.
Indeed. All right.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I know why Councilman Terrell left now. He didn't want to be here for that.
Yeah, probably did. Yeah. Scott?
I just want to give everybody a quick update. Found this out this morning. The sign program that we worked with University of Kentucky on, all the signs came in last week while I was on vacation. That is scheduled for tomorrow. So if I could just ask everybody watching, the entire length of 4 Mile, the entire length of Goggins Lane, we will have all of our road crews installing new signs. So if anybody wants to participate or be involved, you're welcome to come join us, but we will be putting new signs up on both roads tomorrow.
Good.
Scott,
Thanks,
you
Scott.
know, all the new signs that they have already installed on state roads, they are really busy.
Yeah, these look really good. These are the newest, up to date, all by the guidelines.
Well, you know, when we went to that school out there, that was very informative.
Yeah.
I didn't know half of that.
Yeah.
How many times have you seen something now that
Oh, every day.
that you learned there? Yeah.
Every day, I
Yeah.
said, yeah, know where
So
that
hopefully
come
we'll be completed by tomorrow afternoon.
Good.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Supposed to be a pretty day.
Anybody else, department heads, don't have very many left. Yeah. Next, comments from magistrates. Larry?
Judge, I think it's been a good court meeting.
Have a minute. Yep.
I'm glad to be here, and I'm not gonna give my number out because I think everybody's got it. But if they don't, they can get it off the TV.
Yeah.
But I wish we'd have more meetings like this.
Yeah.
I really do. And other than that, I'm just glad to be here tonight.
Glad you're here, buddy. Tom?
I wanted to share something, since this is the season for it, and this is off of a state email that we receive periodically. It's addressing the work zone areas. We have county crews out in work zones. The state has crews out in work zones. And part of what they were saying, it says with the roadway construction season kicking off in April across Kentucky, many motorists will encounter at least one work zone in their daily commute. Although highway work zones are high risk for crew members, the lives of drivers and passengers are also on the line. Of the 12 lives lost in work zones last year, 11 of those were motorists. You would have thought that would have been just the opposite. 11 of the drivers or passengers were killed out of the 12 lives that were lost. It also said that that crashes rose 33% from 675 in 2016 to 1,007 in 2017. So it's everybody's responsibility to be careful in those work zones. The contributing factor for those in almost every case was, they have said, was distracted driving. 44% of those distracted drivers were the majority of those crashes. It says, and not only in the work zones, it says due to distracted, I'm getting to a point here, I'm telling you this for a reason, I'm headed some more with this. It says due to distracted driving last year, there were more than 57,000 crashes on Kentucky roadways, resulting in 14,600 injuries and 147 fatalities. I have seen this over and over and over again. Going down the interstate, you be driving down through there and you're passing somebody, and what are they doing? Texting. You're texting on the road. They're texting on the interstates. They're texting on our county roads. They're texting on state roads. Sheriff Cole will tell you right now, it's illegal to text and drive in the state of Kentucky. So if you've got something that is so important that you have to do it, pull over and get out of the roadway. Let somebody live. Not to mention you drive like a man. You put a cell phone in a man's hand and let it ring one time, and they automatically turn into a driving idiot. All right, so let your phone go. It's just not that important. All right. Enough of that.
It's good.
Signs still an issue. We have requested signs throughout the county, not just in the 4th district, I'm sure, but the rest of the district as well. And I get calls on this all the time. People calling wanting signs put up here, signs put up there. I send those requests to the state. All right, so just bear in mind that the state does not have a sign crew here in Madison County. That comes from Garrett County. So I don't know what the procedure is for getting those fixed. But signs are still an issue throughout Madison County, especially in the 4th district for me. We've still got some Will Green road repair that we're gonna have to do down there. I still getting some calls on that. I think we still have the barrels up down there, is that correct? Right? Okay, so we're looking to do something with that hopefully soon.
Well, you know, we just not to interrupt you, Tom, but you know we requested emergency money for that.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm aware of that. All right, there is a car show Saturday down at Kirksville. And let's see, if anyone needs me, 200-9765. No texting.
Thanks, buddy. John?
I just want to follow up on what Scott said about the signs on 4 Mile. The transportation came over and did a circuit rider, I guess, conference with some of the county employees, and we rode out some of the main roads in Madison County. And the reason we chose Goggins Lane and 4 Mile, those are the most 2 accident-prone roads in Madison County. In the last 2 years, we had 41 accidents on 4 Mile alone and 1 fatality. And so those were the roads that we need to issue and take up first. So with the Transportation Department and Scott and Willie, we're going to tomorrow put up some new signage on those roads. And please slow down for the crews out there working on the road, and just slow down on that road. That's the reason we're having accidents. That road is probably posted in a couple of places a little bit too high of speed in those curves. But please slow down and be careful. And one other thing I want to mention, the Union City Ruatan is having a fish fry Saturday from, I think, 4:30 to 7. So any of you candidates, anybody wants to go down and get some good fish, Union City Ruatan Club.
Thanks, John. Raj?
Well, I know one thing for sure, I won't be calling Tom anymore on my phone. No, I was just cutting up with you, Tom. he stole a little bit of my thunder, because I was gonna remind everybody, spring's pretty much here, and road departments would be out working a little more and just keep an eye out for them. It is dangerous. When I run the record, you had to watch your back all the time. They'd run over you looking at you, just watching what you're doing and be driving right towards you. And it's the same way with the work crew. They get to watching what the work crew's doing, and they're actually driving toward it and don't even realize it. But you kind of got to work and watch out for the other guy too. Valley View Ferry had been closed for 7 weeks out of 8. We've been open 1 week out of 8 weeks now. Probably the longest I've ever known of it to be down. But the water wouldn't start going back down until we'd have another rain and come right back up before we could get it. Problem is you have to clean the mud off each side where the river's been up. It's not just a matter of opening the gates back up. So that takes a little while to get that done. And time to get that done, sometimes it's back up. So we've got it back open, and I understand a lot of them it's called, just complaining because it's not open. But we can't do anything with Mother Nature, and we've just got to wait till it goes back down to where we can get to a safe operating. A lot of people think that, well, the water has gone back down, but they don't understand that sometimes the current's still so strong that we can't handle the current, so you gotta wait till it calms down some. So that's about all I got. Everything's going good.
Thanks, Raj. Appreciate it. Judge?
Yes, Judge, you appreciate it. So this week is the National Crime Victims' Rights Week, and I just wanted to mention that because I think it's important, especially from my office perspective and what we do. Everything we do starts with a victim, and lots of times we have important discussions about what we're going to do with people who are in jail and how to rehab those folks and what we can do to better their lives. And what gets lost in that discussion sometimes is how that process started. And that process started with somebody who's been hurt, who's had something taken from them, or something else. And that's really important for us in our office. We start from that space, and we want to make sure that people understand that our primary goal, what we consider our most important job, is to protect the rights of victims and be sure that we can do the best we can to make them feel protected and safe and restored to some kind of normal life. So important to just take a break and remember Victims' Rights Week this week.
Yeah, good. Thanks. Ken?
Yep, we got election equipment arrived yesterday.
Good.
Got everything unloaded, and the ES&S staff, 2 of them down there unboxing, getting everything set up and getting it ready to go today. I want to thank the road department. Last week we had 3 guys come up and help us when we picked up the old equipment. Recycle company out of Nashville came up and picked it up. If it hadn't been for them, it'd been an all-day job spread out over 2 days, and we got it done in about 3 hours. So it was a real big help.
Yeah.
But I was kind of sorry to see that stuff go, because I turned around and we didn't have any equipment to run an election with, and it's April. So
Yeah.
I was glad to see that truck roll in yesterday.
I bet you are.
Yeah. Felt like we had burnt the ships. There wasn't any going back after that. But glad it's here, and everybody I met with their staff is nice to work with. I'm confident that they're going to be able to handle everything we need to do. And another note on elections, we finally talk about it. I served on the RFP committee for electronic poll books for the state, and the contract was signed Thursday of last week with 10X, the company we worked with in the 2 elections before. If everything still goes as planned, we will have electronic poll books in Madison County in May.
That's awesome.
And we'll have paper backup if there's anything
Yeah.
goes wrong. But there's us and Franklin are going to do whole counties, and there's the other pilot counties that tried it last time. We're going to do some precincts, but we're
Are those sign-in books, Ken?
Yep.
Will it be pen sign-in or finger?
no, it's all electronic.
Electronic?
Yep.
Finger?
No, we'll have stylus.
Okay.
You'll sign with stylus.
Yeah.
But it opens up so many conveniences to the process. It takes the check-in down to about of course they're new, so they're easy to use, but they're new, and every voter is going to have to be kind of told how to do it. But once it gets rolling, the next cycle, it cuts the check-in time down to about 25, 30 seconds, where it usually takes us more than that long to find your name in the book.
Good. It's good.
Is the absentee balloting process open now?
Open the 23rd. We had to move it out because of the new equipment. We didn't have the equipment in-house. We started it 2 weeks later than we usually do. But yeah, it starts the 23rd. And John asked me this morning, the 23rd is also the last date for a new person to register to vote. So if you've moved into Madison County, you got to the 23rd to get before the book's closed.
Kitty, is there an age, if you turn 17 before?
Yep. If you're gonna be 18 before the general, you can vote as a 17-year-old in the primary.
Yep, that's right.
Will your name be on the ballot, on the book though?
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
will be
they
on,
will be on
but
the
you
book.
have to pre-register though.
Yeah, you've got to register to vote just like.
Yeah,
just
okay.
like-
And you'd have to do that by the 23rd.
23rd,
Of April, yeah. Yep, good, good info. Sheriff, you got anything?
Well, I just want to report to the court that the car that the court replaced, we've got it in, issued it out yesterday. We're still waiting on our 4 SUVs to still arrive. But as soon as they come in, we'll get them all equipped and everything, get them out on the road. Deputy Gibbs is still not back to work yet, where he got hit last June out on the interstate, working a wreck. We're hoping that his recovery keeps coming along. One of our other deputies, Philip Sturgill, had some heart issues, some stents put in. He's back to work. As well as Todd Chitwood, after the loss of his son,
Yeah.
he's back to work. We've been busy. I think this weather, we just want to caution everyone, like Master Bodkin did, just drive safely. We're going to start doing more speed enforcement around the county. We're going to start taking our speed trailer and putting it up, and so if you start seeing that, you'll know that if that doesn't slow down people driving in some of the neighborhoods and some of these secondary roads, that it'll be followed up by speed enforcement. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. And just for court's information, Doug, the cooler went out at the jail. There's going to be a tractor trailer coming Wednesday, basically a cooler trailer coming Wednesday. We're in the process of getting it fixed. Doug got a couple different quotes. So just FYI for you guys, if you all see it, hear it, it is in the process of getting fixed. It's a little over $7,000 expenditure, and I think Doug's utilized some other jails for some of your stuff, their coolers and stuff. So Doug, do you have anything today?
No.
You good? All right.
Can I ask a question? Did you, did we replace a cooler last year? Did we just work on one?
We replaced
The freezer.
Freezer.
over there. And again, these units were 27, 28
Yeah.
years old, 24/7 operated, so we replaced the cooler, or the
Freezer last year, yeah.
Now the coolers, and we were aware the cooler was gonna go bad, but it lasted about a year
Yeah.
longer, so it's time. to
Compressor.
replace it.
Is it the compressor?
It's
I
the
don't know
units.
why. It's not the box itself, it's just
Yeah.
everything that goes along with it.
Yeah, it's the condenser.
Compressor and all the other condensers and all the other stuff, yeah.
If you got one, they'll go bad.
Yep.
We'll have 2 new ones here.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
Next, we need a motion and a second to pay the claims and approve the transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Berger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Buckin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next court date is Tuesday, April 24th, 2018 here in Richmond. Again, it's next meeting is Tuesday, April 24th, 2018 here in Richmond. I need a motion and a second to adjourn.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Master Berger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Buckin?
Yes.
Master Combs? Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thanks, guys. Appreciate everybody being here.